Alright, and welcome back to the Internet Nobodies podcast. And today I'm here with another cackle of nerds. Who we got with us today?
Hey, it's Pete, and I'll wear your granddad's clothes. I look incredible.
Hey, I'm dressed in all pink, except my gator shoes, those are green, and I'm Jen.
Hey, Freddy, can we go thrift shopping? What? Okay.
We can go thrift shopping.
Okay.
Woo!
And I'm Freddy, and the people are like, damn, that's a cold ass honky. Let's start the podcast.
I don't know.
All right, everyone. So in case you didn't guess from our opening, today we're doing our thrift shop type episode.
Yeah, thrift shops and
Internet celebrity
flea
Rob Lowe
markets.
loves thrift shopping.
Yeah. You're there every other day, as far as I know. That's the canon in my head, at least.
I mean, I basically am, because now I work 2 minutes away from Savers.
I mean, you already lived not far from
I
Savers.
live 5 minutes, but now I work 2 minutes away.
It's even closer.
Yeah, I literally go there on my lunch breaks at least once a week now.
Oh, wow. I forgot. Oh, yeah, you are close to Savers. Holy crap.
Yeah.
So, like, thrift stores down here are like a institution. It's a big thing, so it's...
For the listeners at home, Jennifer, where is down here?
Fuck your face, Rob Lowe. It's in North Carolina.
The South.
It's the South.
South.
Dirty South.
Fuck you. But yeah, I used to work, like, across the street from, like, the orphan thrift store and Habitat for Humanity.
They thrift orphans?
Of course,
God
yes.
damn.
They got a lot of wedding dresses for them orphans, too.
It's like the orphanarium in Futurama. You just go in and you pick which orphan you want.
Yeah, right. But, I don't know, you find a lot of stuff there. It's crazy.
You find some of the craziest stuff, and I love it. Like, I can get lost in a thrift shop or like a flea market for hours on end.
Yeah.
Just picking through every little thing, 'cause it's like treasure hunting.
Pete, have you been to the one in Oakdale?
No.
It's not.
Wait, is that the one next to the Wendy's actually?
Yeah, there's a Wendy's.
Yeah,
there.
I've been there.
Yeah,
I've
it's
been
like
there.
an antique mall flea market sort of deal. It's big,
Yeah,
bro.
I bought.
You can go and spend like 3 hours there minimum.
Like
it's the
I went
size
there
of
with
like those
Coyle.
down south antique like markets.
They're fucking
Yeah.
big down here.
Yeah, yeah, they
Like-
are.
I picked up like 15 vinyl records while I was there.
Oh,
Nice.
I fucking love vinyl record. Like going to the thrift store and finding those. Oh, god
Yeah.
damn. I got
That's
some
like
good
one of the
ones.
things that you always, for at least for me and probably for you, is just you always stop at the vinyls and like
And
I
just
used to do that when I was in
whatever
hh school.
it's so fun
Yeah.
just to look through that.
Freddy
I remember
was-
one day-
Freddy was a super hipster doing vinyl
back in high school. One day I got Led Zeppelin, Boston, and I think Pink Floyd in one day at the
Hell
same thrift
yes.
shop, and I was just like, no one was here to pick this over, I guess, yet.
You always know, right? Like when you just happen to get those kinds of hauls, you're like, man, somebody with good taste donated a lot of stuff.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it doesn't matter what it is, but if you just find multiple things at once, you know it always came from the same guy or girl.
I remember the very specific thrift shop you're talking about, Rob, is the last time I went there. I actually got a copy of The War of the Worlds. Remember that video thing that went
Yeah,
over the...
with,
Tom
Orson
Welles.
Welles. No.
Orson Welles.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Orson
It's
Welles.
Orson Welles.
You're right.
Orson Welles. Okay. Jen's laughing. I can't think. I'm just like, what's his name? I can't.
Or
wells
a
of
funny
Orson.
name. What do you want?
I made a joke.
But I didn't even hear it. Too busy thinking.
No
My
wonder.
thoughts are loud. But yes, I got a copy of that and also a copy of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And I was just like, ooh. Usually these are very expensive.
Actually, I was there 2 weeks ago, and they had a among everything, they actually I saw a copy of the one of the B-52 albums, and it was $20. And the weird part was, like, a couple of days earlier, literally within that same week, I had found that same B-52's album at Savers. So it was in a slightly worse condition. Like, at least the sleeve was in worse condition, but the record itself wasn't good. So, but it's not the one that has that's Love Shack, and I'm like, the B-52s have
What do you? They
Like,
don't have any
what
other
else
songs.
is there?
I think what is it they have on there? Is Rock Lobster on? I think that's them, right? I think that's on that album.
I can't remember.
So what are your favorite finds from the... I'm sorry if I'm, like, taking over, like,
No.
topic or something like that, but, like, what are
dare
some
you.
of the things you guys have found that are, like, your favorite finds at the thrift store?
Like, I remember, before, the internet was a thing, the best finds were, the crazy, Japanese shit you would find that never made it overseas. There was a specific Dragon Ball Z video game I found. I still have it. I think it's for the original PlayStation. It's in Japanese, and it's like a 2D fighter, like pixel almost.
Where
I
were
think
you
I know what you're
fighting?
talking about, because I think I have the same one.
Is that Ultimate Battle 22?
No, I don't.
Oh, because
I don't
eventually
know.
they did
Was the
release
PS1
Ultimate
not
Battle.
region locked?
It is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was like you could do the little spring trick, or you could
Yeah.
just put the thing in the back. There was
Okay.
ways.
Yeah. So I don't know
look
when
it
they
up.
region locked all this stuff.
Oh yeah,
everything.
Ultimate Battle 22. That was it.
Yeah, that eventually came out like super late. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got that game super early.
yeah. And that game's all right actually.
Yeah,
It's
I got that,
Better to
and
find
that was
out that I might
I was
have
just
one.
like, what is this game? Where I was like, I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. How do I not know about this? Because it wasn't out yet.
I don't know about all these games that have come out.
Oh, man.
But that's
And
that's weird.
they also
though,
had,
finding Japanese games at your shop.
And they also had Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon cards, and I'm just they were in Japanese. I couldn't
Yeah, I
tell if
remember
they
a
were-
local card shop, not like a what's it called? Not like a playing game card shop, or like greeting card shop.
Oh, like
Oh,
Hallmark
okay.
or something like that?
Yeah, it just like one of the
Like a mom and
generic.
pop.
Yeah, it
It's
was
just,
it was
it's
George's
just card shop.
It was
It's-
George's
the
card
name of the
shop.
store is called
George's
Cards.
Oh, Jenny,
I remember
your,
it.
Your brother. He's an entrepreneur.
Sibling,
Yeah.
yes.
But they had like Japanese cards, and I remember they had a Charizard there for like $50, and I always ask, "Can I get that?" They're like, "No, it's too much money for a card." And I'm like, like I can't remember which one it was, but I'm like, it might be worth money now.
Yeah, like, I'm still looking for one.
Like if it's like Shadowless base set, fucking
Oh, yeah, you're gonna pay mad
out
money
the
for that.
Yeah,
$50 was a steal.
I know.
Well, I mean, probably not back in the day. Like now we look
Not
back
back in-
at it, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh man.
Hindsight's
I
2020.
gotta get that time machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you guys? What are your favorite finds?
Favorite find from a thrift shop. I did get that record player that I gave to you. That was a good.
yeah.
I mean, back
How-
in the
did that-
day, that thing worked pretty good.
I was gonna say, did that work? Because I fixed it.
yeah,
'cause
it
wasn't
worked.
working.
It just didn't. It just sat up in my room for like years.
So it was just it. So it,
It
just
just
started. Dying.
yeah, it just started showing its age. But it worked when
Yeah.
I got it.
I mean, I got it to work again, and then the motor fried.
Yeah.
There was no fixing that anymore.
Which, if we're
but
gonna
it
talk
works for
about
what I
record
needed.
players, so a slight segue, but it'll come back. Have I told you guys how I love Philco, like the Philco Predicta TVs? Like those old TVs from the late 50s. They're have the curved body and everything.
I was
Oh,
about to say,
yeah,
isn't
I
this
know
the
what
rounded
Yeah.
ones?
Yeah. Yeah, the ones that if I ever saw one in real life, I would definitely drop, those hundos that Pete hates that I carry around with me. Like,
You're an old soul, Rob.
Yeah. So anyway, Philco, right? I remember I was telling my mom about this, and we went to the antique store in Center Reach, the one where Pete got, you know, his haul that we'll mention later.
Yeah.
And literally, you know, I was telling her, like, yeah, you know, if I ever found like one of those Philco TVs, I don't know where I'm putting it, but I will buy it. It will be in the house. It'll be in the basement until, you know, I have a place for it. And as I'm saying, we turn the corner, and then there is a Philco record player. And it wasn't like an original from like back in the day, right? From, you know, 40s, 50s, whatever. It was like a newer one, so it wasn't like original Philco. It was whatever brands ended up buying them, but it wasn't like the new, right? So, because like, you know, now if you go to the stores, you'll see like the Crosleys, the Victrolas, all of those, which are like just complete utter repros. This was its own original thing, but it was styled as an old one from back in the day. So it was like before the whole retro boom happened. I think but it was like, it was still not the original. So, and it came complete in box, and I actually talked the guy down to $30 on it. It was $40. And it was like, once I actually got it home, I opened it up and everything, and I don't think it had ever been used.
Oh, damn.
Like, it still had like the paper, the cardboard disc in the record spot and the CD spot, because it actually does. So it was modern enough that it does records, it does CDs, and has a radio. It doesn't do cassettes, which was kind of like, but I mean, I'm not really into cassettes. Like, cassettes and VHSs, you know what?
I like
you were good at the
VHS,
time. I appreciate the effort you put in back in the
The
day.
thing about VHS is just it degrades. That's the worst part.
Yeah.
So you can have a VHS collection and be like, well, I can't watch this anymore because it's so degraded.
Yeah.
And
Not everybody has
VCRs
pencils
just
to
VCR
redo.
like VCRs did not age well. Like, unless you had a really, really high end one and you know how to maintain, like actually open it up and maintain it, they will eat your tapes. Like, you could get good ones, and and it will just still eat your tape. I remember with my grandma, she just was like stuck on her VCR phase. So we would buy her like new in box, like new old stock VCRs, and they would still just eat the tape. And I'm just like, these things just didn't age. Like, I don't know how to repair a VCR, and I don't feel like learning how to repair a VCR. Get yourself a DVR. It's like a VCR, but better. There's no
digital
tapes involved. It just does everything
There's a D
digitally.
in it.
Yeah, it has D in it, all right.
Were you saying something before, Pete?
Oh, I was saying, yeah, I remember back, like, I had a very shitty VCR that would constantly eat anything you put in it, and I would just have to constantly fix everything.
Yeah, they only happened to me like once, but like, we have old tapes. My mom's like, you could transfer the video. And I'm like, to the computer, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to be responsible if the fucking VCR eats the tape.
Yeah, that's why I may or may not still have whoever's, you know, PVR over here. Literally, I could see it's right there, because I was gonna transfer over like some old tapes we have, but I'm just like, they're actual camcorder tapes, so I would need the camcorder to actually transfer it over, and I have no clue where that is.
Oh, what is the VHS-C, or?
I don't remember if it's C or if it's like the other ones.
Regular VHS, or is it like
the small tapes?
The small fat ones or the small slim ones?
They might be the fat ones. I don't think
that's VHS-C. You need to get the you gotta get the adapter tape for that.
Yeah. We probably had one at one time.
I had one. The damn thing broke. Like, I put a VHS-C tape into it, and it just went in. It stopped like halfway through. Yeah. I'm like, oh, maybe the batteries are dead. And then I checked the batteries, and no, they were fine. It just broke.
But you know where you could probably find a new one? At the thrift store.
Oh, bringing us back.
Segue.
You put that away.
I have to say that my find that I really, really like. So I really like the original Michael Crichton Jurassic Park and Lost World books, and I was able to find a like not an original print, but like a first run printing of the book, like the hardcover big book you would see at a library.
Okay.
Dust cover and everything, all intact. And I found
Did you find a robot?
Jurassic Park first. Huh?
Yeah, you just sound funny on ours. Just keep going. It's fine though. I can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, there she goes.
And it's got the jagged pages like it would be parchment or something like that. And I found that, and I was really excited. And I was like, oh man, because I was just looking at this giant bookcase of books, and it was like 50 cents a book, and I was like, fuck yeah. And I was like, hell yeah.
I'll take the whole bookcase.
No, I don't have any room for that, Freddie. Jeez, no.
Buy the bookcase too. That'll solve that problem.
But so I got that book, and then I walked around the corner, and I found, since I like crafty things, sewing, crochet, needlepoint, the whole nine, I guess somebody had donated their entire collection of the cloth for doing cross stitch. So I have like half a ton of fabric that I got for like $2. I got a bunch, like the hoops and everything. I probably spent maybe $15 on $40 to $60 worth of shit from Habitat for Humanity. It's like, I guess it's like a thrift store, but it's a secondhand store, but it's like
which is,
bigger.
Yeah,
They do doors.
You can
and like
call it whatever you want, but like thrift store, antique store, secondhand store. You know, if you're in
all the same
Japan, you
shit.
got the recycle
It's
shops.
huge.
They're all
You got
like,
hard off.
Yeah.
Roblo, there's
That's
boats
a
at
shop
this
in Japan.
place.
It's hard
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, that's anything that has off in Japan is a secondhand deal.
Yeah.
That's why we
It's
have book
book
off
off.
in the city.
I love
Yeah.
Book Off. Oh my god.
Book off.
Yeah, Book Off and Hard Off are owned by the same
Yeah, they're the
company,
same.
I think.
Yeah.
Like, Book Off is just more like media stuff. Hard Off is more like
Yeah. And,
actual items.
and then there's the sex shop. Fuck off. It didn't take off. For
I don't
some
want
reason.
anyone's secondhand discount sex toys. It's cool.
Secondhand cock ring. No.
Secondhand Tenga.
No, thank you.
Oh lord.
I was gonna make a bad
Do you,
joke, but
do you,
never
do you
mind.
two remember when after the Mike's wedding, we all went to those that bookstore?
Oh yeah, that really cool one.
No.
What was it called? Sorry, you
Yeah,
weren't
'cause you
there.
flew
I
back.
know. I had to fly back to the south.
Yeah.
Dirty South.
Since Freddie, Rob, and I just had to take the ferry across the Sound just to get home, we were like, let's just fuck around in Connecticut for the day.
Yeah.
And I was like, guys, let's go to this bookstore. And it ended up not being a bookstore. It ended up being like 4 or 5
barn.
bookstores in the same town. This bookstore got so big because it was originally on like a farm. And
Yeah.
it got so big that they took the farmland, just made like all the little barns across the land, they just filled with books for sale. But then they would only have certain genres on certain, so they bought other plots of land like a couple of blocks
Jesus.
down, and then they had
Yeah.
more. And when we went, it was raining, so we had to
Yeah,
like
it was-
scurry from like barn to barn, and then it's like all
we were like
muddy and
rats, like running, looking around, like.
shit. But it was
Yeah.
it was cool, and if it was in better weather, I would have been like, yo, let's hit up the other spots.
Yeah.
Definitely,
you know.
because it was really cool.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was like cold and rainy that day. Yeah.
Oh, there's that place in that we hit up coming back from
Give them a
MagFest
shout
one
out. What
year.
was their name?
Oh,
Oh,
I know what you're talking about.
That place was
Like-
really cool because that was also kind of
I can't think of the name of it right now.
oh god,
Oh,
it was
that's
like
it, I
more.
remember
It,
it.
it was like an upscale, secondhand, like
Yeah.
media.
I wonder if the
um,
name of it is still on the DVD that I bought from there.
Probably.
You know,
Let's
if I
see.
could get to my manga collection, I know I have like the books within reach to be able to look at them. But
Your mangoes?
Fuck, it's right at the tip of my tongue too, and it's gonna annoy me. Second.
but it's in like Second and
Yeah.
Charles, yeah, and it's in Delaware because their whole like no
Yeah.
tax thing and whatnot was fantastic. But like that was a really cool place to go to. I really enjoyed that trip that we did.
Yeah. We never go there anymore, but usually it's because we just want to get home.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're usually tired from
Yeah.
that excursion.
usually I'm okay with going because excuse me. We usually go
Tired
we like
boys.
stay an extra day so we can rest and recuperate.
It's true.
I'm surprised we haven't actually done it
Next
in
time.
a while.
Well, now that
Whenever we drive down there next.
So just to give them a shout out, because I actually thought they were really cool. They're literally just called Book Barn.
barn.
Okay.
Okay.
The book barn in Connecticut.
Yeah, Niantic. You know, home of Pokemon Go.
That's just... Alright, shut up.
I'm assuming there's a bunch of Pokestops there.
No, that's the
Rob,
company that makes Pokemon Go is called Niantic.
Rob, I just noticed your text saying, "You ain't my dad."
I mean, that's accurate.
God damn it.
Actually, so something we didn't actually consider, but since Jen was talking about getting those books, and since we're literally on topic of books, what was it? It was definitely last year because it was during the pandemic because I had a mask on. There was an estate sale actually not too far from my house, and this it was like the daughter, I guess she was selling like off all her parents' stuff and all the books. These people loved books. They had like a huge like wall, like bookshelf in the wall, and just books of, you know, a lot of them were like educational, like learning things.
How to use my cellular phone.
Like
a lot of
not
habits
even
of
right.
dummies.
These people were like oddly cultured. Like when you walk into somebody's house for a estate sale or a yard sale, you can kind of learn a lot about these people, right? They had they had a couple of musical instruments. They had like some African art. They had a lot of Chinese art. I think they were some kind of Asian. And they just had a lot of stuff, and they had a lot of books about just so much stuff, like history, gardening, medicine, science, like so much. But it was the thing of me, you know, I'm like, I don't really want any of this, anything. If I really want to look at any of this up, internet. But what I found was cool was, I guess for like the girl who was selling all their stuff when she was little, they had a bunch of Peanuts books, like original Peanuts books.
Oh, what?
Oh,
and we
okay.
know how
And
much
they were
you
selling
love the
any
Peanuts.
book they had was 25 cents. So it didn't matter if it was like a little flimsy Peanuts book or if it was like a huge like science textbook, 25 cents.
It was 25 cents.
Yeah. So I ended up just buying a stack of, like, I dug through the whole thing. I grabbed every one they had of like these original like Peanuts, Snoopy, Charlie Brown, in case anybody's like, what's a Peanuts, Snoopy?
That's really cool.
Yeah, and I didn't even, like, at some point I just handed them like $5. I'm like, I don't even think this is $5, but just take $5. I'm not gonna count it. Like I'm really not gonna ask you for like 50 cents back on this like huge stack of books.
Yeah.
But that was cool. But yeah, I mean, like, yard sales are just people's personal thrift stores, and you always find some.
It's true, yeah.
I actually
Now
found
you went to
out east, like in the Hamptons. I guess these people like always do. They just, for whatever tourists, they just always have their yard as a sale, and whoever just stops by because their stuff was
Usually,
not cheap,
yeah.
right there. But I actually ended up getting a tie clip. And it's like, I don't know if it's actual gold or it's just gold plated, but it's gold.
Gold-plated gold.
Gold-plated gold, and just engraved. Big ol' R. And I was like, yes.
For rich.
Perfect.
For rich and baller. So,
Which you are.
yeah. Because I got like a tie clip in one of those like shirt and like tie bundle things. And that
From
tie
like Kohl's
clip,
or some shit.
yeah, and that tie clip is garbage. It is so like the front looks like it's long, but the back clip is like quarter of an inch,
Short.
so it doesn't
that's
actually
dumb.
clip onto anything. It'll clip onto the tie, but it won't clip on the shirt. So I was just like, this is useless. So then when I saw that one, I was like, oh, that's a proper heavy one with a full length clip. So yeah, it's cool. I definitely
got a lot of shit.
yeah, and I paid a.
They
I
sure
paid
do.
like, I don't. It was almost. I don't think it was 10, but I think I paid with a 10 because it was like almost. And I was like, man, this is kind of expensive for a random thing I'm buying on somebody's yard, but it was cool enough. And I was like, you know what? I'm never gonna see something like this
spoke
unless
to
I
you.
get it custom ordered, probably.
So that's
Yeah.
like the difference between like an estate sale and a yard sale. Like and definitely like location and whatnot, because down here estate sales are definitely more expensive than yard sales, because estate in term like implies that like status and money and shit like that. And then in the Hamptons, of course,
estate
like,
does not mean that. Estate means whatever they own.
Yeah,
I understand that, but down
technically,
here,
because you're thinking
like,
like estate as in like the
like a mansion estate.
yeah. Whereas a estate sale technically is
It just means,
we're
like-
either moving or someone passed away or whatever. We are selling everything.
everything. Right,
Everything
Like you
must
walk into
go.
that house, you like something, you can buy
Yeah.
it.
right, but like in the
I-
terms.
Oh my god!
like,
Oh, I'm
that
gonna
people
post something in
think.
the chat because I saw this actually. Speaking of state sales out east, when I was at my dad's, because my dad has a house out east, and we went to an estate, like a barn shop there, and it's like a quote unquote estate. It's one of those that's always open, so I don't know if they're just, you know, whatever. They just find stuff to sell, but I saw this old timey stove, and it wasn't for sale. And
Oh, that's the worst.
yeah, I would have bought this thing in a heartbeat. Like, this is one of those things, like, I don't care how much it is, I will buy it because it was that cool. And now I gotta find it because it was, like, however long ago. And, yeah.
Whatever. Dude, find it. We'll keep talking.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually...
While you look for that, like, estate sales are cool, but you know what's even better? Divorce sales. I remember.
What?
Yeah, I know. I remember I was coming back because, like, on my day off, I always go out and get like a bagel or an egg sandwich, and I was coming back from the deli,
Look.
and I was just,
There you go.
oh, that's a pretty cool stove. But I was coming back from breakfast,
that's so
and I saw
You
a
can see my
sign
grandpa in
on,
the
like,
background,
at the
too.
stoplight that said divorce sale. Everything must go. And I was like, well, that sounds entertaining at the very least. So I went to it, and this person was just selling off her husband's shit for like nothing. And I'm just,
Because she just wanted it gone.
yeah, I'm just like, oh my god.
And this stuff he's
not-
probably going to come back for, too.
Yeah,
No,
because
I
you
don't
know that
know.
was like that petty
Or
shit
it-
that he's gonna come back to get his, like, you know, stamp collection, and she'd be like, "I sold it for $250." It was like, it was worth $5,000.
It was just so, like, the whole thing is like, I didn't get anything. Just walking around and seeing how much
I went to
everything
a
was
divorce sale.
entertaining in of its own. It was great. I was like, man, I hope there's more of these in the future, but I've never come across this divorce sale since.
Give it until
Like,
after
literally the
pandemic.
sign said divorce sale. And I was like, I am sold on this premise.
So, we were talking about maybe seeing, like, flea markets and stuff, too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I remember
never been to
the
a flea
one time I went to a flea market.
Wait. You never been to one, JP?
No, I've never. When TS was open, I've never been to it.
I was gonna
I've
say a
never
TS
been.
flea market.
Oh.
Or even
I've
been to, like,
never been to a
twice.
flea market.
We'll
Even, you
we'll
know
talk
what, when
about
we were
TS
growing
after
up, though,
Freddy's
they were,
done,
like,
but this needs
TS
to be
was our
discussed
closest,
now.
but there was like mad flea markets, you know, in Nassau.
Mm.
Like, it probably was a little too far for you guys, but there was a lot of
Yeah.
there was a lot of them out west.
But I got, like, the greatest thing ever at the Atias flea market.
Okay.
What'd you get?
Megazord Thomas Tank Engine.
Oh my god, yes. I have
remember
seen
seeing
those
that.
before. Yes.
It's in my
that-
room.
that-
I know.
I've probably seen
I-
it and I don't remember this.
yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember seeing it in your room.
It's on, like, the second shelf of my, like, figures.
Of-
On
your-
his
of
little
your
his
figures.
stand, yeah,
Yeah.
next to the TV.
But, like, that's like what I was saying before. Like, you found some crazy shit. I didn't go
Yeah.
into detail because we just started the podcast. I was just like, you find some crazy shit at a thrift store. Because it's okay. It's eBay before eBay was eBay.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
and I'm not talking about eBay now where they're more specialized in certain categories. I'm talking about like eBay fresh off the internet. No one knows what the fuck's going
Those are
on.
good
You could
times.
probably buy a fucking kidney off of
Yeah.
eBay. Like that. I'm talking about that eBay back in the
Yeah.
day.
It was just a free for all.
Yeah, and that's what a thrift store is. It's a goddamn free-for-all. You walk in, you don't know what you're going to find, but you're going to find something, and you're probably going to
You know
buy
what
it.
you gotta
just
find, but
because
you
it's
gotta
the-
find it.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to find, but you're going to find it, and it's going to be something that you're taking home with you.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was the coolest shit, just, like, finding weapons and stuff. Like,
yeah.
swords, like, nunchucks, and,
Until you find
like,
a
crossbows.
very controversial knife, right, Pete? Is that you?
The what knife?
That was at a convention.
There was a convention.
I know, but still, I still want to.
Another kind of sort of thrift
Oh
store.
no! Yes.
Repressed memories.
No, I forgot. When I accidentally bought a Nazi knife. God.
Not even
I
like
didn't
a
know.
cool,
We'll
like
save that for
antique,
another
like actual
convention
old
story.
one.
It was an antique replica. It wasn't a
Fucking
real one.
neo-Nazi skinhead bullshit.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
I was like, thankfully the person at the thing was very understanding when I said I wanted to return it because I didn't notice that it was
A Nazi
like that
knife.
it was yeah. I mean because I bought it because of the blade. The blade was so nice. It was like perfect, and I was like, this.
You
is
went
such a
back
nice-
to the booth,
nice-
sir. I don't want to be racist, sir.
Yeah, I was like, please, I don't want this
I
anymore.
don't want to be a Nazi.
That was so embarrassing. If it wasn't for you guys like catching that, I would have fucking went home with a fucking Nazi sword, and my parents would have been like, Pete,
Pete,
What
what
is
did you
this?
do while you were away?
nothing.
Had fun.
What happens at the convention stays at the convention.
Yeah.
God, that
What
was,
kind of convention
that's more of a
was it?
convention story. God, that was a nightmare.
That's for another convention stories episode.
Yeah. I mean, we pretty much.
I mean, we
just told-
basically
I know,
just like
I'm
beat
just saying.
around the. There's no leaves left on that bush. The
Yeah.
bush is
Yeah.
gone.
we ran it over just to make sure.
But back to like, the flea market stuff. I remember I was up in I forget was I Vermont or was I in upstate New York?
They have
I
some
don't know,
great
one's
yard
together.
sales
Same
upstate New
difference.
York.
Yeah, but it was like this giant like 3 foot football field long flea
Oh,
market.
man, that's
oh,
cool.
One of those like.
Was it outside in a parking lot?
No, it was outside in a field.
Oh, it was outside.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was a nice day out too, so I was so happy.
So it was
I
like
was
a
just
swamp.
wandering
it was like
around.
A swamp meet? Sort of?
No,
No, it's like have tents and stuff,
It's
right?
t-
So
Tents and
that's
stuff.
just like their
Yeah.
spot. They're always there.
yeah,
Oh, that's
they're always there.
That's wild.
I forget
They were-
exactly where it was, but that's where I don't know if you ever noticed that horse head knife I have in my living room.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
That's where I got it for like $5. I was like 13 at the time. Dude's like, yeah, $5.
Yeah, bro.
They don't give a
Upstate
fuck.
is
Yeah, they don't
wild.
give.
Upstate is down south. All right. They will
Yeah.
just sell anything to anybody.
I actually had like same thing, Freddie. But it wasn't in a field. It was in a big ass parking lot.
Yeah, I've
probably
seen
the same
those, too.
size. And it's like it looked like the parking lot was made for this, and it might have been. It was like because there's this place I used to go to every year in Pennsylvania when I went skiing and stuff, or if I went like camping in the woods, like. And they would just have like on weekends they would have the outside flea market, and it would just be like they would just put up their tents, and they would have once again just like the Atias flea market, crazy shit.
Yeah.
Not only did they have crazy shit because it was outside, if they could fit it, they would throw it there. Like some people had like fortune tellers like up and stuff. They had like a mechanical bull.
3-nippled
I'm like,
fortune teller.
3-nippled fortune teller.
Don't worry, it was fake.
Yeah, it's all right.
The nipple or the fortune teller?
Yes.
Both.
You decide.
So, but yeah, it was like I remember I bought my first scoot there, you know,
Scoot, scoot.
and I also got a cowboy hat. I was 12 or 13 at the time when I got it, so I was just like, yeah, scooting around the parking lot with a cowboy hat. This is the life.
Scooting around the parking lot. I was upstate and up New York, around Lake George for sibling's birthday, and
You're around his lake.
I got,
his own lake.
of course, we had gone to like the Adirondacks have this like 10-mile yard sale or some shit, and so
Oh my
like,
god, that sounds amazing.
oh my god, it was fun. Like we got it like there at the end of like the later part of the day, and like I saw
Yeah.
some really cool artwork that this guy just had like canvases like leaned up against the side of a building, and then like he had this box of records I was digging through, so I've got like a Beatles album, and then I found like Topps Beatles trading cards, and it's really cool.
What?
So I have those in a binder out in the garage.
You say Beatles trading cards?
Beatles?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the band, not the bug.
No,
The
I assumed-
Volkswagen.
I summon John in attack mode.
Pretty much, yeah.
I defend with Ringo.
You've activated my trap card. Yoko. Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh god, that was good.
But yeah, so that was kind of a fun thing. It's not exactly a flea market, but the 10-mile yards, because down here they have a 5-mile yard sale that they do in the summer, and like they have these big billboards out and say, hey, it's between here and here and this stretch of road and whatnot.
I would still include like all what you're talking about in this conversation because
as a flea market.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, same shit. Who cares? Like it's just people selling reused stuff.
Yeah. Whether you donate it to somebody else to sell it, or you sell it in your yard, or you sell it in 10-mile radiuses, you know,
spans of road.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Yeah, they used to have it at my high school every Christmas. It was like a Christmas flea market type thing in the school.
Oh, that's neat.
So you could just go there and like.
Oh,
whatever.
I remember those things. I had one of those. I hated it because it was just people selling shit they didn't want.
Well, that's what a yard sale is.
That's the point of it. The problem is,
but it's like
the people you're selling it to also don't want it.
I bought a lizard at one of them.
Like a live lizard?
Well,
yeah, like what's it called, a noli? Is that what they're called, right? The little like.
The little guys.
Lizard thing. Yeah. They were like, yeah, they're like $25. It comes in a little cage, and I'm like, my mom won't like this, but yes, please. She hated it because she doesn't like crickets, and that's what you feed them.
Yeah.
Live crickets.
Oh boy.
So they would get out of everything. They would just be around the house.
The crickets or the lizard?
Freddy.
The crickets. The lizard was chill. I would just like put him on like my shirt, and he would just chill there.
Oh, neat.
Nice.
Because like the body heat, and they're just like, oh yeah, it's warm. I will stay here.
I used to have. I don't remember this, but apparently I used to have lizards growing up, and we had 3 of them, and they got out of their terrarium. And speaking of body heat, eventually we found them under the oven.
Oh, nice
and crispy. No.
Yeah. Toasty.
Extra crispy.
Toasty.
Toasty.
I bet by that point they were just jerky.
Yeah, probably. I honestly don't remember any of this. I just know this event happened.
Where is that?
Yeah. I don't know. Where is it?
I don't know. Roblo.
We'll talk about that later. Don't.
God damn it.
Yeah. I'm surprised it took so long for you to freak out.
I can't look at
It's where you think it is. All right, I'll give you that hint. But we're audio podcast and whatever. Yeah. You know what? I actually, and 2 of you guys actually have had secondhand experience with this.
Okay.
I actually really like buying when I go to the thrift shop. Right. I always hit up several areas. Right. One of them is, as LGR calls it, puzzles and board games.
I love his stuff.
And of course, you know, I'm looking for those big box PC games, but I'm also trying to see, you know, what kind of weird board games they have. And you know, we've been having our board game nights, and we've experienced a few of my secondhand finds.
Yeah, you've done some good
King
stuff.
of Tokyo, I found.
I love that one.
And Suspicion, that was another one that I had.
I love that one.
Sounds like a shifty title.
Yeah. We didn't play it, but I bought Mike the Scooby-Doo movie board game.
Oh, I bet he peed his pants.
Yeah, I saw it and it was $2.
Like the one with Freddie Prinze Jr. and all that, or like just a Scooby-Doo cartoon movie?
No, the live action.
Okay.
Yeah. And and I saw it and it was $2 and I sent him a picture and I'm like, do you want this? Meanwhile, I already have like walking away with it. I'm like, of course he wants this.
You want this? He wants it.
Yeah.
Of course he does.
But yeah, like and it's always, you know, it's always cool to find like a game that, especially like for King of Tokyo, where that's a well-known, you know, well-known game, highly rated. It's been around for years. They just I think last year released like an anniversary, like collector's edition and everything. And you know, that's cool to find something like that, and you're just like, yeah, I know this is good, and I don't have it.
Yeah, I think I got Pandemic at Savers for like $2, still sealed. Like
one.
no one opened it.
That's the best,
blue-
right? When you find the sealed one.
Yeah. I was just like, I never played this. I don't know anything about it, but it's $2 and it's sealed. Why not?
Because
cool. Might as
with the
well.
board game, it's worse with the board games. Because if it's open, you always have to
Yeah,
open it and see if everything's in there. Most
If
of
they
the
don't,
time,
like, tape it up.
Yeah, most of the that's another problem. Most of the time is you have the instruction manual and it'll give you the breakdown of everything that's supposed to be in there.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, you just kind of have to eyeball it. Just like, does this look right?
How much Monopoly money really is in this board game?
But yeah, speaking of Monopoly and taped games, I actually bought like a Coca-Cola, because, you know, Coca-Cola boy over here. I bought a Coca-Cola Collector's Edition, because they're all Collector's Edition, Monopoly board. And the thing was, when I bought it, they taped it up. So I couldn't open it, and I'm like, but I'm like,
so you were
There's only
hoping
a
that it had all the
20
pieces.
in there.
yeah. I'm like, it felt heavy enough, and the box was in good shape. That's one of the things you can kind of go by. Like, if it looks cruddy, it might not, you know, maybe, you know, they didn't take care of their stuff. But if it looks like whoever had it took care of it, you kind of hope that, like, all right, if something
odds
is
go
missing,
up.
it's probably something that doesn't matter. You know, like, hey, if they lost a $20 bill in the Monopoly board, I'm not gonna care about that. If they lose some of those cool pieces, that's a little bit of a problem.
Don't pass go. Then.
Yeah, I can never pass go then.
Yeah.
What
So
else?
do we want to talk about like the haul that we did that in Center Reach?
Yeah.
So you guys have had a recent thrift shop yard sale crawl?
Not really that recent.
Not
no.
recent. This is a
It
couple
was
of years
bef-
ago.
It was pro-
and
it was-
Pete
yeah,
had
it was
his,
before
and then
COVID.
I actually had another one, like different. Do you actually remember the name of your thing, Pete?
No.
Oh.
I have it in what?
I was gonna say, maybe let's find the names of these things.
All right.
So if anybody else
So
has
I'll-
something that they want to, you know,
That they want to discuss.
I mean, I've gotten like CDs and stuff.
yeah,
I found like Blues Traveler and like Save Ferris for like, you know, $1 each.
yeah, that's always,
I'm like, hey, video games as well.
yeah, that's another spot I always check is the video games, because, you know, like Mario Party 3, I found that at Savers
nice.
3 years ago, and it was on
Yeah.
the top shelf, so I couldn't actually see it because it was lying down, right? So I
Because
couldn't.
somebody knew.
That's why you need me there.
Yeah. But so I was just like looking at whatever PlayStation or Xbox games there, and I was like, all right, it's nothing interesting. And then one of them had like fallen over, so I went to go like put it against the others, and I'm like, oh, there's something there. Like, I can't see whatever's lying flat on the shelf, but there's something there. So I reach up and I grab it, and I'm like, oh, it's Mario Party 3. It's $3. This game's like $100. Yeah, yes, I will
yeah,
buy
that's a
this.
find.
I'm trying to remember where we were. I was with my friend Anthony and Jen. I think we had like a thrift shop or something, but he got like Mario DDR for like $20.
Oh, that's
That
cool.
and that was always rare. That was like never not
Yeah.
rare.
It was cheap. It was like $20 or $30 that he got it for.
Nice.
I'm trying to think, because I haven't been to thrift shopping in a while.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
been
really
a
kind of want to go now.
While.
I like
Same
Been a
here.
while.
Been a while.
Okay, I got mine. It was an audio Sonic game.
audio
was a-
Sonic game.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna copy it.
Do-do.
Not that Sonic.
Are you sure?
Oh, what the?
That's no good.
Copy this image.
So while Pete, so if
Yeah, I have it in. I put it in. It has like the paddles on the side.
okay.
That like you can actually take them out. I don't really know if they actually work if you take them out.
yeah, no, they should be.
I
I
think they
think
have,
there's a
like,
wire
the
there,
cord.
because.
Yeah, I was about to say I think there's a cord.
So
Oh,
okay,
'cause
let's
they
actually
come
tell
out.
the story.
It looks
Let's tell
like
the
it.
story, Pete. Now
Yeah,
that you
story
actually
time.
found it, because I also found mine.
So we were on a retro game kick,
Mm-hmm.
and
As you did.
I was like, yeah, as you did, And because I had just like broken out all the old consoles, and I was like, let's go find some shitty old games or maybe some good old games. Who knows? So there was a thrift shop that I think my parents are the ones that found it, and they told me about it. And they're like, hey, we know you've been like going to thrift shops and looking for stuff. There's this place in Center Reach. So I was like, all right, I'll go check it out. So me and Rob went to go look at it, and they had like, it's like one of those places where you can rent out a section of the store.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. There's one in
like a consignment.
St. James. Yeah.
A consignment store, yeah.
Which I'm actually going to look up their name because they're cool. I want to give them a shout out.
Yeah, and they're like, it's a pretty cool store. I like a lot of the stuff they have because like the people, like, because you can like kind of like the estate thing. You can kind of tell what a person's into. Yeah. Based on what they're selling, because they're like they have like a theme to it. Like some of them have like a lot of toys, some of them have music, some of them have sports stuff.
In Center Reach, New York.
Antique Addicts.
Huh.
That sounds familiar.
It's like right next to
it's next to Wild Rice. We've had to take you, Fred.
Yeah, oh yes, yes.
Because
it's right at the cross section where 7-Eleven is, right across the street.
I don't know if there's a 7-Eleven there. I don't remember.
Yeah, 7-Eleven's across the street.
It's like middle country.
I always come in through the back, so I don't know what's in the front.
It's like a fucking, what's it called now?
It's Speedway. Yeah, it's at the corner with Speedway, Sev.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's on the side where Dunkin', Wild Rice.
Yeah. Yep.
Mathletics or whatever that math tutoring place.
Oh my god, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
So yeah, we were there. We were looking around, and I was like, all right, there's this one section where they have a ton of like classic game shit. Like they had like NES games like galore. They had some Sega games, not really a lot. It was mostly NES.
Yeah,
games.
that guy's always that booth has been there since I've started going, however many years ago, and he never really has that many Sega games. So I don't know where he gets his stuff. He actually has, because you were talking about getting Japanese games earlier. He usually has random Japanese games, like PS1, PS2 games. And every time I see that, because he'll have like Japanese Ridge Racer, and I'm like, I fucking love Ridge Racer. It's on it's the PS2 one, and I'm like, I can't play that one. I own it in English though, and it's good. Yeah.
When did you guys find this place?
Like I said, when I was on a kick for games, my parents just happened to come across it one day.
But like, was this before I moved?
This was after you moved.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, because like mom and dad I forgot what mom and dad were doing. I think they were out shopping, and they didn't know where to eat, so they went to Wild Rice or whatever, and
which Wild Rice?
They said,
we've said their name like 4 times. They deserve a shout out because that is like somehow like classy gourmet Chinese takeout.
Like it's amazing. Like their Chinese food is like
because it's weird, right? Because it is straight up a Chinese takeout spot. Like you go in and it doesn't try to be anything other than a takeout spot.
Because it looks like just the table with maybe a single chair for you to sit in.
Yeah, you get their food, and their food is somehow like classier than every rando Chinese takeout place.
It's like everything was cooked perfectly.
Yeah,
it's like
I went there that one time. I remember liking it.
Yeah. I remember that.
But,
I remember there was a scoot in the corner.
Yes, I remember that.
Pete's old scoot.
Man, we're good at getting on tangents. I blame Rob. But anyway, so like the guy with all the games, like I picked up like a bunch of them.
You literally took I think all of his NES games.
Oh, I don't think I took almost all. I had probably had like 20 to 30 games. And I think
you were going to take like most of them, and I just said, Pete, you're just take all of them, and I think you ended up just taking all of them and just bundling it up.
I don't remember, but I do know I have a ton of the games, and also that console I told you about, that Pong console that has like multiple modes with the paddles on it. And what I did was because you know me, I like to haggle. This is how we found out that it was one of those stores where people they rent out the section, because I went up to the counter and I asked how much all of these would cost, and they said it would cost like, I don't know, $90-something or something.
They went by whatever the sticker price was.
And I think I was like, I said, if I buy all this shit right now, can I get it for like $80? Because I had cash, and I was, and you know, I like to haggle.
Cash is king.
Yeah. Because
Wait.
What?
Pete,
What?
you had
What?
cash?
I know, right?
What happened to you?
I knew I was going there, so I prepared.
Motherfucker, you knew we went to the city, to Manhattan, and you didn't even bring cash. All right, you're like going up to the hot dog guy, and you're like, yo, I don't got money.
The ATMs in the city, Rob. I expected to find an ATM somewhere.
Pete's
I was
known
very
for
mistaken.
ATMs.
Don't worry, the homeless guy had a card reader.
What?
Yeah, they give homeless people card
Well, I
readers
mean,
now.
to get a Square reader is free. You just take.
It's like
You get the.
$3. You got to get it at like CVS or something. It's like $3
Oh,
or something.
yeah. But then they just charge you like the fee for.
Anyway.
Anyway. But yeah, so I was like, yo, $80, all this cash. So the guy's like, all right, let me call the guy who's actually selling this. And I was like, what? Because I thought it was the store. It wasn't. It was like, that's when I found out. And the guy was just like, hey, this guy wants to buy all your shit, and he's willing to give you $80 for cash right now for it. And the guy just agreed to it. So I was like, nice. Save almost $20 on that. And then I took it all home, and I had to clean half of them out because they smelled like piss.
I ended up cleaning a lot of
happens.
them too.
Yeah, I think we spent because I think we called over
You have like a day for
other
cleaning?
Rob, and I think this was also the day we were also working on the second NES that I had. That was broken.
So we replaced the card reader. And
So we
everything.
spent a whole day just cleaning.
I
and repairing
remember
stuff.
we cleaned because we cleaned some of them one day, and then the Gyromite, which you don't even have a Rob, but Gyromite smelled like cat piss. So we had
That's
to
what I'm saying.
open
It
it
smelled
up
like fucking piss
because it smelled terrible.
Yeah.
That's upsetting.
We had like a few things with us to wipe down and disinfect.
We've been disinfected for years, boys.
Before the COVID even came for us, we were ready.
Disinfecting in the veins. Well, good.
So my video game, it wasn't even a hole, but it was the same place where I mentioned the Philco record player, a Coleco Telstar Gemini, which I'm actually looking up like on a game museum website. So this thing came out in 1978, which actually, side note, I found another like old mini TV from the 70s, or either 70s or late 60s.
Where are you keeping all these televisions?
It's a small one. It's a tiny, but it's in the basement.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense. You have a big
Yeah.
basement with nothing going on.
Like
down there.
I would love. That's the thing. I want to hook these things up together, but I'm also like, I don't know if that TV will like survive if I turn it on. The transistors in there
Blow
may
every
be shot
circuit in the
from
house.
being 50 years old.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they had, and it was weird because I went there and I found this old Telstar Gemini, and it's like, it's like an old console. It has like little pinballs on there. It came with a light gun, so you can play the thing, and you actually play the console. Like, it doesn't have remotes on it, unlike Pete's. Like, you actually have to, like, for the pinball, the buttons are just on the side of the thing. So you'd actually like slap the left, slap the right, and they have the bumpers there. When I got it, right, this thing is so old. It doesn't have like the RCA cables or anything. It doesn't even have coax on there. It has like the weird antenna input.
Oh. Yeah.
So luckily, for no real reason at all, I actually had an Atari adapter in my garage, and I'm like, wait, do I still have it? So
Of course you did.
So I dug it up in the junk drawer, and I'm like, oh yeah. So I actually ended up hooking it in, and I was like, oh, this works, because back then it was all compatible.
Back in the day, when everybody used the same
Exactly.
shit, not like
Yep.
how everyone has their own stuff. Because
well, until HDMI's became a standard.
HDMI, yeah.
But yeah, so I'm like, oh, cool. So this will work, and using that, you can plug it in with a coax. So I was like, yeah. So I plugged it into my TV, and it didn't work.
Oh.
But it
didn't plug it into the wall.
But it did. But it had like there was noise. Because the box itself makes noise because there's no sound output. It's the box itself has the speaker in.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm like, all right. And the screen, there's like something. Like there's fuzz. You can tell something's going on, but there's actually on the CRT. When I hooked it into my LCD TV, no, because it doesn't do fuzz. I think the resolution was so low. It was like, no, not even bothering whatever you plugged into me. All right, fuck this bullshit.
It's like 2p.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
So I plugged it into the Sony Trinitron. And so I got the fuzz, and I'm like hearing things here. I see fuzz, like I see movement. There's something going on, but it's not. I can't see, but there's something going on there. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You know, I'm trying to like, is it the plug? I tried different like plugs. I get like back when Radio Shack existed, I got like actual proper adapters to try and like do it, and that didn't work either. I'm like, what the fuck? So I brought it to Game On. Because this is when he had his guy who repaired stuff, and I'm like, yo, can you like check this out because it doesn't work. And so he shows it to the guy, and it takes him 2 minutes, right? Because he's just like, yeah, it's I hear it, it's working, I see the sound has something going on. So then I changed it from channel 3 to channel 4, and it worked, and I'm like, who in their right mind set the console to channel 4? And there's no toggle. Like the old, like the NES and the Super, you can change it from like channel 3 to channel 4.
Yeah.
Nobody ever put channel 4 because that's an insane person would do. This one doesn't have an option. It's only channel 4.
Oh, God.
And I'm like,
madness.
Like, bro, what? This came so long ago that they didn't want to waste channel 3 because channel 3 was the good one. Oh, Ed Sullivan's on channel 3. Put it on channel 4 instead. Like, are you serious?
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
That's funny. I bet kids today don't even know what that means.
They don't, because you hit the input button because they didn't have to worry about Ed
HDMI
Sullivan on
too.
channel 3.
Oh my God.
Man, I think we were all Terrell tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except Rob. Rob was just Dale. being
Yeah.
mad.
Well, you know, we need to bring the excitement, bring the hype. After my disappointment in the waifu wars, there was no wars. Somebody needs to bring the
Don't worry,
fire. Charizard, rawr!
Once we have a sequel, then we'll have a legitimate fight. We'll get a
We're
camera.
gonna actual fight. Head over to the boxing
We're
ring.
gonna actually fight. And Rob, I can't be asleep for this. I'm sorry.
Oh God.
I can get us a wrestling ring.
Well, shit.
I mean, legitimately, yes, I can.
Freddy has hookups.
I'm sure you can. I actually wasn't doubting you. I'm just like shit. Anyway, on a side note, I just got a pair of shiny purple pants for the 90s party from a thrift store.
MC Hammer pants?
Yeah, pretty. Like the thing is, like that's pretty much what they are, but like because I'm so tall, they're not that big.
I mean, just
They're like
I know that
if they
feeling.
have the Velcro, if not the Velcro, if they have the elastic on the bottom, just kind of ride them up a little bit.
No, yeah, they do have the
Yeah,
elastic
ride
on
them
the
up and wear
bottoms,
like weirdo socks, and there you go.
There you
Oh,
go.
that's a good idea. I'll do
Yeah.
that. That's a good idea. I do have a bunch of
See,
weird
that's
socks.
what I'm here for, broski.
Yeah, this is.
Now,
I don't know why you didn't come with me, broski. I literally
I
invited
was
you
literally
multiple times,
not
and you just,
home that weekend. That's why I kept saying, "Let me know when you're going, and I'll let you know if I'm home." And you're like, "Well, I'm going this time," and I'm like, "I don't know if I'm going to be home this time."
And then I texted you, and I'm like, yo, and then you finally got back, and I'm like, all right.
Basically, what you said is, "Hey, Rob Lowe, can we go thrift shopping?" What? What? Except
All right.
Thank you, Freddie. I was about to say, Freddie, you got to stop him. Only you
know.
have the power.
I know.
Now with the general concept of a thrift store and whatnot, do you consider like online thrift stores like Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that?
That's just eBay.
Or are you more in the classic sense of physically going to a thrift store?
I feel like going there is better because the whole thing is like there's more elements to going somewhere.
Yeah, like if I'm like not looking for anything in particular and I just want to go and say, hey, maybe I'll find a cool camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the whole thing is like
if I'm looking for like
something specific,
then I'm gonna go on like eBay or maybe Goodwill's website.
Yeah, but then you're paying
the
premium.
Yeah.
Like you might get a slight deal, but you go to the thrift store. I told Freddie a couple of weeks ago because I've been looking to, speaking of cameras, I've been looking to get like an actual film camera, right? Ideally, I want a
They don't
35
exist anymore.
Ideally, I want a 35 millimeter. Apparently, I ended up picking up. Actually, where is this? This thing is right over here somewhere. I picked up an Minolta Vectis 40. This does not run normal film.
No, it does not.
It run. What the hell do you run? Vectis.
It was like 35.
It runs on whale oil.
APS. APS.
Yes,
film,
that's what it was. APS.
Which I've never
It's
heard
a
of. I asked
smaller
Fred, and
sensor.
Fred's like, "Fuck if I know."
When I think about it now, like it makes sense because like APS-C sensors are smaller than full-frame sensors, so it probably uses a smaller portion of the negative, if I would guess right.
But
So Rob, I can talk to my dad because I think that's the exact camera that my dad has, and I can see if he has any information for you on that.
I mean, it wouldn't. I guess, but it's one of those things like, if it's the same one, that is such a cool camera because like I got it basically.
Minoltas are real cool.
I couldn't turn it on, didn't have batteries or anything, so I was just looking at it. But what was cool is it has a zoom built in. It has a 4x zoom built in, but it doesn't actually like. It's like it comes back in. Like it's not like a SLR where you have to have this huge lens on the front and do. It's all electric. It just goes back in, and it's slightly bigger than just your average like point and shoot. But it could like zoom, and it has like a macro mode. That's what I was messing with. Is you can actually get like you can focus on something super close for like a macro mode. And at the time, I thought that was the zoom. Like I'm like, oh, maybe if I put batteries in, I'll get the zoom to work properly. Then I found out, like, no, that's just a macro. There's actually, like, a full telescopic zoom on there. And I was like, this is wild. Then I found out that it uses some kind of crazy film that, like, it's like $20, $25 a roll. And you can't, like, the Freddy's place that does film development. Yeah, they don't do this film, so I'd have to like send it out to California to get it developed, and I'm like, this camera's super cool, but I really don't want to have.
It's a process.
Yeah, so I'm on the hunt for an actual 35 mil. I did find one. I did see one recently. I think it was a Canon Sure Shot.
Sure Shot. Oh, okay,
and, Sure Shot 105, I think it was.
Sounds familiar. Okay.
And that one did have batteries in it, so I was like, cool. And it has like the same kind of zoom, not as much. I think it only has a 2x zoom compared to like the 4 that the Minolta has.
Yeah.
Problem was, I think the zoom was broken because I was trying to actually zoom in, and it would make noise, but nothing was happening. So I'm like, like I don't want to tinker with this. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong with it, but I don't even if I am doing something wrong with it, trying to find like documentation of a 30-year-old camera to try and see what I'm doing right, to how to do it right, like, because there was
that's my.
Because there was like a slight hairline crack on the bottom, so I'm like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's my problem with like getting cameras at thrift shops. Though it's like there's that huge gamble that it's just not gonna work. Cause like there's that one thrift store in Center Reach next to McDonald's.
Oh yeah, I know
Island.
what you're talking
Yeah,
about. The one
they had they had a camera in there, and I'm like, oh, this looks cool, but they just had like the lens cap off, collecting dust inside of a cabinet. I'm like that's gonna know. I'm like,
yeah.
it was like maybe $80. It came with a bunch of shit, and I'm just like, but
yeah, and they're not cheap either, because there's that one there. They have another one I think in Huntington, and they have the one in Medford. Yeah, they're like they're cheaper than getting something online usually, but they're not like super good deal. Like they had
there are no returns too.
Yeah, they had an iPod
like
Mini there not too long ago, and I was like, word. But it was, I think it was like $25, and I'm like, I definitely am gonna have to repair like the battery at the very least, so that's gonna be another $15. So I'm like, I'm not really like, this is not a deal for me right here.
Right.
Yeah, it's
putting
like
a little too much into it.
Yeah, it's like that one time
Go
ahead.
I was gonna say, you know what I do like though, like, cause I'm never like, other than this one time at a garage sale, I've never purchased a camera, from any thrift store or anything like that. Because same thing, I think it's too much of a risk for too much of the price. But what I love about it is that walking into a thrift store or a flea market and you go to those sections, it's like a time machine. You see the
really
history.
Cool. Oh,
You get to see the history of where technology was and where it led up to a degree. And now it's not just that. It's like technology and toys and clothing. You see clothing from every generation at a thrift store. What's that? Like you find your grandpa's got that like that newspaper boy hat with a flat lid, and it's like
so you're wearing my grandpa's clothes.
Yeah,
and you look incredible.
Yeah. I'm looking. I'm making it work. I forgot the line. Damn it.
Yeah, that's like I would definitely say like between random YouTube videos of like LGR, Tecmo, those sort of guys, electronics connections, and thrift stores. Like I've gotten a really big appreciation for old electronics, which is mostly what I look. I really don't go over like board games, electronics, video games. I really don't look at clothes very much.
Neither do I.
I you know what? For a while, for a couple of weeks, I got really into looking for ties. So I actually have like a decent tie collection now, despite the fact that I don't even.
I'm
need
just
them.
I'm 6'9", so nothing in the store fit me.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you're a giant, like you can't go clothes shopping anywhere except specialties.
But speaking of ties, I really do like every time I go by, like I keep looking because I want to find like a Vineyard Vines tie with the little pink whale.
Oh yeah,
because those are expensive. Like those are like $70 if you get them at the store, and I'm like, I'm not gonna wear it like enough to justify buying it like full price. But if I find one for a couple of bucks, like I did find like one that looks like it instead of like the whale has like a seahorse, so I'm like, I'm okay with this.
Yeah, the knockoff.
Yeah, but electronics, right? So I always think it's cool to like see where electronics like what they had before us, like, or when we were little when we really didn't care. And it's two things where I didn't know actually existed really. Video formats, laser discs, and video. Oh, what the fuck? Video. Oh, what the hell are they? They're like RCA branded. They're like giant floppies.
Don't copy that floppy.
Is it literally just called a RCA? Yeah, it's literally just an RCA video disc, and it's like a weird floppy. It's like a giant floppy, but it has like it's sort of It's like a cross between a record and an actual laser disc CD, and you put it in the machine, and it'll eat the disc, and then at some point you have to actually put this case back in. So it takes it out of like the casing. It'll play the disc, the housing. At some point you actually have to put the casing back in to eat the disc back, and then take it out and flip the disc over and put it back in. So it's like, and I'm just like, this is so weird. Like, and it's such a weird thing because I'd never even heard of those, and then I saw,
I never heard of that.
I saw them actually at the at Antique Attics, and I was like, "What is this?" Because at this point, I already knew about Laserdiscs, and I was like, "Yo, Laserdiscs are cool because they're just giant CDs."
Just giant fucking CDs.
And then I saw these things. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this is. And then I ended up watching. I think Tecmone had a video on it, and I was like, "Yo, this is nuts. This didn't take off." Like, I mean, it kind of makes sense that these didn't take off just because they're so big. And then VHSs came out, and even though VHSs were chunky, they were just smaller. So, because the you have to think the players for these giant discs have to be bigger.
Yeah.
And
bigger and more expensive.
And that was I saw
nobody wanted it.
a Laserdisc player at Savers one time, and I had it in my cart. It was maybe $15, and I had it.
It's not bad.
You had the devil on your shoulder and the angel.
No, it wasn't even the devil and the angel. It was literally just me saying, if there is a Laserdisc for sale, like if I can buy an actual movie to go along with this player, it's a done deal.
Then it would be worth
it. And I
searched.
Did you check the vinyls?
Yep, searched the vinyl because that's where they put them. I searched with the vinyls, it wasn't there. I searched the cases, it wasn't there, and I searched obviously the electronics section where I found the player, and they didn't have any there. So I said, "All right, Laserdisc player, as much as I want you, I have zero use for you, and I wouldn't have a companion for you. So you will go back to the shelf where you may live until someone else takes you home."
Maybe someone who has one will find you and have need of you.
That reminds me of the Cowboy Bebop episode where they're trying to find a VCR
recorder
and stuff. That whole story just made me think of that, and I was like, oh man.
Pete would get that joke if he ever saw Cowboy Bebop.
No, he won't.
Go fuck yourself. I like how you just love to bring that up as much as you can.
That's gonna become when we get our own wiki page. That's gonna be on there. Pete has never seen trivia. Did you know Peter has never seen Cowboy Bebop?
I'm
to this
gonna
day,
be so upset.
When we open a mailbag in the future, our fans are just gonna send copies of Cowboy Bebop on DVD to you, and you're just gonna refuse to watch any of them.
Send them on Laserdisc.
Yeah. Oh man.
There you go.
Burn Bebop on a Laserdisc. I don't know if this is possible, but figure it out.
We will find a way.
The internet always finds a way.
Speaking of burning shit, the other day someone posted on Facebook, like, what the heck does burning CDs mean? And I responded saying, back in the day when we didn't like certain music, we would get together and burn CDs in a big old fire.
Oh god.
And I was making a historic reference to how people used to burn books.
Yeah.
But they didn't get it because, children.
God. So before we wrap up, I do want to talk about thrift store stuff, about video games. So we've been talking about that, but actual video game places to go where you can buy used games, old games.
Oh yeah, those count because they're technically
that's
thrift
what I mean.
shops
That's
that
what I'm saying.
they specialize.
Yeah. What best pickups you ever gotten those? Do you have any?
Like the best pickups?
Yeah. Like one thing that you were like, oh man, they actually had this, and fucking Christ, I want this. Because I got Pokemon's, was it Snap or Stadium? First Pokemon Stadium boxed for $20 from Game On in Japanese.
Oh wow, that's a good find.
The Mario Party I mentioned is probably one of the best value-wise.
But that was at a regular thrift store, though, right? I'm talking about
if I were to say an actual secondhand game store.
Secondhand game store, yeah.
They not necessarily a deal, right? But since on the top,
I'm not really talking about deal. I'm talking what's your favorite.
So that's what on the topic of on Game On. When I bought the BioShock Collector's Edition, the 360 one, because those are somewhat rare. The figures break really easily, And so he had it complete. The figure was in mostly good like the very tip of it was broken, but nothing a little silver Sharpie couldn't fix.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about
like
now.
the original, like back.
The thing on top of your cabinet.
No, this one's still in box. Actually, like the box is a little bit.
Like this is the one that I remember
bent
when
in,
you
but
bought
it's
this. You never took that out.
I just this one I really don't have a spot for, so it's just kind of still in box.
I mean, why not? It's the box.
Yeah, and it has a window on the front for the
so you can
actual,
see it. It's fine.
Like Big Daddy. But yeah, so that one I think it was slightly less than market value, and but it, again it came complete, and it was kind of one of those things I feel like he put it up because it's just like it's kind of expensive because they were going for over 100 at the time.
Yeah.
So like getting it a little bit less than 100, I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm in for this. Like it's a lot. I own the game already. Like at this point, I owned it like 4 different copies of it. But I'm like, this is one of my favorite series. This is like I can actually look at this and say this is in good enough shape that I'm happy with it. And I was just like, yeah, you know what, let me go in on this.
Nice.
You know what? I can't really say that there's anything too crazy that I'm just like, oh man, I can't believe I got this here.
Yeah.
Because it's like stuff I'd expect to find there, but I just remember there's one game like that I loved playing as a kid that I like when I bought it, I beat it a few more times. Yoshi's Story. I was like, oh my god.
Have I told you my Yoshi story? All right, you tell your story, then I'm gonna go in.
Save that.
But yeah, like that's pretty much it. I was just like, oh my god, Yoshi's Story. How much for Yoshi's Story? I don't even remember. I bought it anyway. So I bought Yoshi's Story, and I was like, yeah. But I do. I guess the thing I was most impressed about was like, I guess we could just make a shout out to Game On because they're essentially that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because
he's been real cool.
The guy who owns it, Tristan, super cool guy. I remember when he had the
first location.
Mega Man vinyls that were
Yes.
they weren't available to the public yet, but he told me about it, and he
that's
he
who you
ended
got
up
it from.
yeah, that's who I got it from. That Mega Man vinyl. It was like a collector's edition of the greatest hit songs from Mega Man's 1 through 8 or 6 or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And they were all on one vinyl. And there was 2 variants, so I bought the Skullman version because it looks cool. And I'm glad I did because like he sold me that copy before it was available to the public, and it was like that was just before MagFest, where the creator of Mega Man himself and the composer for Mega Man was there.
Yup.
So I ended up taking the vinyl with me, and I had the composers sign the vinyl, and they also signed the sleeve.
Oh yeah, you were telling us about that.
Yeah, because they were like, "Where do you want us to sign?" And I'm like, I don't know." So they just signed both.
Perfect.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
It's part of the first convention story episode that you guys did, and I saw it when Pete brought it to the convention. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all right. I did tell that story.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, but that's
was
where
the
I got
story
it
where
from.
Pete started
I don't think I
bleeding.
mentioned that.
Yes, that's
That
also
was
part
the
of the Pete
Yeah,
bleeding story.
that was as stated in that story. If it wasn't for the fact that I was bleeding and like ended up in the hospital because of it, I also wouldn't have got photos with them because I was the last person online, and they let me in because they were like, "Yes, we remember you going to the hospital, so we'll take pity on you and let you in, even though the line's already over."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Thank you, security guard, man. You're the coolest."
All
Gotta
right.
make
Hold
friends
on.
with
So Yoshi's story. Funko Land, right? Pre-game stop.
Oh boy.
Back when you could like
Funko
demo the games, because they would have all the old systems. Well, they weren't old at the time. They would have like literally the Super, the 64, the Genesis.
Stuff that were current
Yeah.
at the time.
So they were. You could like play any used game.
They were the
like,
GameStop
if they
of
had
their
it out,
time.
you could just pop it in and you just play it, see if it's something you'd like. So you buy it. They had Yoshi's Story. It was like fairly early in the release, but they had a used copy. So the guy was just like, "Oh, hey, you want to try it?" I'm like, "Yeah, let me try it out before I buy it. Let's see," because I loved Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's Island is legitimately one of my favorite games ever. So Yoshi's Story, comes out, and the guy just kind of like, "All right, I got to do this." Before like I gotta do this, and I'm like, all right, whatever you gotta do, bro. He cranks the volume on this TV to max.
Oh my god, I know exactly why.
And then he
did
pops
that.
the game in, and then
Rob, I think you're cutting out.
He cut out.
It was so loud.
You're so loud, the microphone refuses
so
to
it
pick
plays
you up.
the Yoshi Story theme as loud as this TV can do, and you just hear the guy, whoever was the other guy working, just dying like on the other half of the store. And I'm like, I ain't even mad. And this is like having a little baby Roblo, right? But I remember like when Yoshi Story came out, what, 99?
So you were like 9?
Let's see, Yoshi's Story. It came out in 2000 and not 1997 December. So I was probably 8. It was probably the next year, right? Yeah, I remember this moment from when I was 8 years old. About this guy just blasting the Yoshi's Story theme in a Funko-Land.
That's a good
It
story.
was Funko-Land in Islandia. Shout outs to you. Rest in peace, Islandia.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, I used to have the Funko-Land behind the mall.
Yeah, that was the one I used to go to.
That's the one I go to. Me and my friend used to go there. We legitimately printed out because we were like NES collecting. So we legitimately printed out like every NES game. We were like, okay, we have this one, we have this one, we want this
Speaking
one.
of printouts, remember old Funko-Land? The newspaper?
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they had that little like advertisement thing.
What they didn't actually like mark their games. They wouldn't tag them with price tags. They would literally have a newspaper, and it would be monthly. It would be just like a monthly price chart of any game in their like that they would sell. It wasn't store specific. It was just like. Just
whatever
everything that is in our system as possible to be sold, its price is listed here. So if you find, and it was like the coolest thing. So I remember I would always like take, like even if I didn't buy anything, I would always take like the price list, because then I'd be able to look, be like, oh, this game looks cool. Like and it was like a newspaper. There was maybe 1 or 2 pictures of the like a box per console.
Yeah.
Everything else was just like a list. And I remember.
So it's like a phone book, but for like prices.
Yeah.
Games.
And like that. I haven't thought of that till now, but now I'm like super nostalgic for that. Speaking of online thrifts, I wonder if anybody's selling one of those on eBay. Like, how much would that go for? Because it was literally just
Everything
a
is for sale
throwaway
online,
like price chart, but it's like such a specific. For me, I don't know, like, because Pete remembers. I don't know how he feels about it. Like, it was such a specific like childhood memory of having.
I mean, I would go through it.
For,
I
like,
just remember
advertising and nostalgia.
Like I would usually go in it looking for stuff that I knew I wanted to see.
Yeah, I kind of remember it, not too much though.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm really surprised at how much of this podcast we got through. We're actually over. In all honesty, I will say like it was a struggle just to find people who have been to a goddamn thrift store. Like it was impossible. Like people would just be like, "Oh no, I can't. I've never been on." Like Dale, Terrell, Sibs. It was insane.
How have they never been to a thrift store?
And I know,
Dale,
right? And then I was
Terrell
like,
said he just didn't have any interesting
even
stories. Terrell,
he
Dale
says
was
that
just
about
like,
everything,
I never had a childhood. I don't buy things. and,
That's bullshit, because I know Dale has gone to a thrift store with Freddie, Pete, and I before.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
I'm
had
pretty
to have been
sure
dragged at some point, but it's also.
Yeah.
But even
like a thing we
again,
all
even
did.
yard sales. You guys lived out east. There was yard sales all over the place. Like it's the same.
We could
I know,
probably
it's the same
like in all
yeah,
honesty,
I don't know.
like
What
adding
but
yard
still,
sales,
it's the same
you could
difference.
probably
You know,
do more, but...
going through used stuff that may or may not be cool. Hopefully, is cheap, and hopefully you get something neat out of it. And sometimes
It's treasure
yeah,
hunt.
and sometimes you just get other people's memories with it too. You know, weirdly.
Yeah, literally, so, like that's the whole thing. A lot of times, like like, I would say a lot of times you're not going to a thrift store to get something that you were looking for. You're going there and you find things that are interesting, and you also leave with things that are interesting in your head, man.
Just something
like
that
again,
like when you find some
memories.
when you find like cool records like all in one shot, you're like somebody donated all of them. You kind of like make that mental picture of like, who was this guy?
Yeah.
Like, I know what his music tastes are. Like, how old? Like,
it's a lot of history, man.
yeah,
A lot of history.
That's
in
that
thrift
stupid
shops.
little tie clip I mentioned. Like that, the old people who were like running their little yard sale thing. They told me the story of that tie clip. Now that we're talking about memories, the story of that tie clip, and I don't know why this is what it is, but that was their plumber's tie clip. I don't know why they had their plumber's tie clip, but literally
That plumber
everything I
was
would
that
pick
guy's
up at
best
this
man.
place, at like everything on the table, the guy would.
Oh, that was the
guy would
plumbers
tell
too.
me the story of who owned it, like who in their life owned such item. And it was interesting. Like, even the stuff that I had no interest in, I'd be like, oh, this is neat. And then they tell me like this little story about it. I was like, oh, everything had like a backstory. My tie clip, it used to
One
belong
man's
to a
trash
plumber.
is another man's come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that,
All right. Yeah, I think
Freddie,
that's-
take us home.
That is the end of the podcast. As always, you can find us on iTunes, Podcast Addict, and Spotify, and then whatever other things we're on. I'm not sure. Something took the RSS feed. And then you can follow us on YouTube. Just hit that subscribe button. give
Ring
us a
that
thumbs up,
bell.
and, ring that bell. I always forget whatever YouTube is supposed to say.
Leave a
comment.
you
Punch
gotta
it. Legitimately
yeah.
punch your screen.
punch the
We're not
screen,
gonna
Punch the screen.
that.
Make
slap
sure you
your
hit that
keyboard,
bell.
hit enter,
not liable
and
for
then
destruction of your
subscribe. And follow us
And
on
that's what-
Patreon.
You don't have one.
Dig us.
You know what?
Find us on Friendster.
Ignore everything that Roblo's saying, but you can actually. There's a new thing we're on. We're now on TikTok.
Oh,
Yep, subscribe to
snap.
us on
No.
TikTok.
Yep.
We're
TikTok. We have an Instagram. We have Twitter.
ask us for
Yeah.
personalized
Instagram,
videos.
We'll link
on
everything, don't
Cameo.
Cameo.
Using as much, but
Yeah, Cameo.
Yeah. We'll be at the Sunvet Mall on Thursday signing autographs.
You got to come down to
Yep.
my neck of the woods to get mine.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a Sunvet
Yeah, you
Mall
gotta-
somewhere in North
you
Carolina
find Jenna
that's
outside
equally
of a
shitty.
Walmart.
Fuck you.
There was
Alright, everyone, thank you for listening.
antique flea market in Sunvet Mall, and they closed. And it was
That's great, Rob.
yeah.
But we gotta wrap this up.
Yeah, we're done for now. Thank you everyone for listening. Do all the stuff you're supposed to do. And that is the end of the podcast. Thank you very much.
I've been Pete, and I'm about to pop some tags.
I've been Jen.
I've
Go get some shoes.
I've been Rob and Freddie. Can we go thrift shopping?
We already went. And I'm still cold ass honky.
Thrift stores are a blast from the past with their history they share in their shelves. Just what will they have on their shelves tomorrow? Find out next time on the podcast.